Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the champion reveal of Nunu and Willump. Nunu's rework. As I understand, Nunu is actually turning into these like two characters. The champion in game is going to be called Nunu and Willump, right? Not just Nunu with like, oh, did you know he's called Willump? No, they're actually two significant individuals as part of his theme and kit. So today in this video, guys, I want to show you what his abilities do, guide you through the reveal, but also talk a little bit about his potential as a jungler, where I think he'll fit in once his rework goes through, how strong he will be in that jungle. So firstly, let's not waste any more time and show you his abilities. First things first, his passive, Call of the Freljord. Let me play the little video for you here. Now, this is basically like his old Blood Boil a little bit here. When he first gets into combat with someone, you will see that he gets a bit of like a ramping up move speed and attack speed that also goes on one of your allies. But when you're benefiting from it yourself, you have this really cool cleave. Now, when we're talking about whether or not Nunu and Willump will be a good junglers, what's really important is looking at their role within a game, but also more importantly, really, firstly, is how are they going to clear the jungle? How well are they going to clear the jungle? Because if you can't clear the jungle very well, you're going to suck as a jungler just flat out. It's just not going to happen. So with Nunu and Willump here, this passive already sets him off on a really good pace. Increase attack speed, give you a bit of cleave, juicy stuff. That's what we want to see, right? That's good stuff. So yeah, first things first, beautiful right here. Your Q, Consume. It's got the exact same name as the old ability and essentially is just exactly the same as well. Except your healing increases when you're low on health and you can use this on champions. You can use it on champions. You do kind of, if I'm not mistaken, it looks as though you still do kind of like a smite damage when you eat someone like you do with current Nunu. But not so much when you target the champions, right? So if you're going for the jungle monsters and stuff, it's still kind of like old Nunu stuff. But, you know, holy crap, you can actually use it on champions now. Now, this is the coolest ability coming up here. It's called Biggest Snowball Ever. It's sort of like a Scion ulti to a certain degree, but basically you start off rolling this snowball and you just roll it along, and the longer you roll it for, the more damage it does, and increases the duration of the knockup when you land it on someone. But you basically just see what it is. Like, you just roll this massive snowball, almost, I guess, sort of also like Aurelion Sol when he does his Q, and you just fly in with that massive Q. Sort of similar to that. Mix that with Sion's ulti and you kind of, I mean, you can see what's going on, right? It seems pretty cool. You can also let it go and it'll just roll in a straight line, which I think is pretty nice as well. Like, genuinely, when you're recalling, you can just fire this down a lane. Generally just fire it down a lane, just try and tag someone. Like, I think that's really cool. As far as your jungle clearing goes, I mean, you'd probably have to kind of just like, you wouldn't get much of a charge off of it, but I still think it's kind of cool, but it probably has a really high cooldown as well. So not really a clearing tool, but will be pretty decent sort of for ganking. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to avoid unless you're lane ganking, so bear that in mind. Now, Snowball Barrage. This is an interesting one. You fire out 3 snowballs here, and if you tag someone with all 3 of them, they get that little kind of snow above their head, which slows them. And also when this circle around you expires, which starts when you cast the ability and then goes when it's you know, after a certain period of time, if anyone's standing inside that circle when you've hit them with 3 snowballs, you will root them. Now, what's not 100% clear from this this description and this clip is what the cooldown is of your snowballs. It appears as though on one target you can only use it like once or something, like it has a normal cooldown, but then in this clip it seems as though it doesn't have a cooldown. So I'm not 100% sure how that will work. To be honest, I don't think it really matters too much. It's just like a pretty standard ability here, pretty good stuff, really good for your ganking as well, decent-ish for your jungle clears. But see, it seems pretty solid. Even if you can only root one person with this, it's still going to be a solid ability. Also, to be interesting to see whether this is a point and click ability, or whether it's a skill shot in a straight line, which it sort of implies that it is, because it says enemies hit by all 3 snowballs in a volley are briefly slowed. How would you miss someone if it was point and click? Like, obviously you're going to hit everyone you're going to hit them if it was a point and click ability, right? Let's move on now to your ultimate. This is essentially exactly the same as your old ulti, except you also get a charging shield now when you are charging up your ulti. And I believe the slow increases as well right here with the new Nunu, which I don't think was the case with the old one. I think the old one just slowed people in general. But basically like your old Nunu ultimate, which is cool because for me this was the defining ability for Nunu, was this ulti. The most fun thing about him and all that stuff. So those are his abilities, guys. I will link you this thingamajig in the description so you can look at it yourself. I actually think Nunu will be a good jungler. I think he'll be pretty similar to how he is now, except more irritating because he's got more actual hard CC, more interesting and more fun to play. But definitely he's looking more like a tank style champion. But who knows? AP Nunu is fun to play, and depending on his ratios, he could work. Either way, that's all we want to say for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave this video a cheeky thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to me if you want to see more League of Legends content. I will be doing a gameplay of this fellow. Actually, I might not, because I'll be out at the LCS when he comes out, which kind of sucks. But either way, yeah. Thank you for watching my video today, guys. Have a fantastic evening, and I will see you in my next video.